What is up, guys and gals? Welcome to episode number 191 of the Nonsense Review. That's right, just call us Hack Wilson for today.
Alrighty, okay.
In the year 1930, he managed to set the record for runs batted in during a Major League Baseball season at 191.
Okie dokie, okay, that's pretty cute.
Do you know what runs batted in is?
Not really.
So in baseball, obviously you can load up the bases with players while you're batting. So,
right, okay.
If you batted in 190 runs, that means when you batted, that's how many runs you scored. So if you've got two people already on plates, and then you knock it out of the park and you get a home run, you get 3 runs batted in.
Sure, okay.
Yeah, so it's one of those. But that's pretty impressive, though. That's like, in 6 years' time, that's a 100-year-old record.
Yeah.
And in sport, that doesn't really happen, because athletes just get better and better.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, everyone else's record becomes the thing to beat. It's not necessarily that the athletes themselves are just, like, superior human beings. It's just that they had a better goal to try and leapfrog.
No, it's not that. It is literally one. First of all, training becomes more specified, hyper-specific. They know what they're training for. Training methods get better. Equipment gets better. Knowledge of the game gets better. Every generation, you learn more. So, of course, the standards are going to get higher.
Sure.
Athletes always have this real gripe on their shoulder. I find basketball players are the fucking worst for it, where they will just say, oh, yeah, but if they were playing in my league, they wouldn't have stood a chance. And it's like, yeah, it's easier to say that when you can't actually do it.
Yeah, it's like strongest of history versus strongest of today.
It's athletes have egos, and you've got to be successful as an athlete, It's just it's why it makes it such a breath of fresh air when you get an old timer just be like, oh yeah, these new guys are great.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, wishy-washy aside, I'm your host as always, Devon, and joining me equally as always is Rick.
Hello.
And so usually what I do is I like to explain what the actual thing we're watching is, but it's a bit difficult to do for an indie animation like this. I did a bit of research, and unfortunately every time I typed in the Earth Guy into Google and started browsing the interwebs, it kept sending me to links to a movie that came out in 2007 that looks bad, and
okay.
The only other thing I got was literally just the lead animator / lead writer's Tumblr, where they answer a bunch of questions whenever they're asked them. So I don't have a Tumblr account, so I can't really interact in any way, and I don't intend to get a Tumblr account. I'm too lazy. So it's one of those where if you want to learn more about this show, go over to Tumblr and
yes,
and Pesta Animamatid. That's not how you say their name at all.
Yeah, animated, I assume.
Yeah, there you go. They seem pretty okay with answering questions, although there are some things they've been asked where they just straight up say, I'm not answering that because it will spoil things.
Sure, okay.
So, it is what it is. I also have no information about the year of our Lord 2024 because I don't see the point in doing that for a modern thing. I don't know if you did any research in that regard, Rick?
No. I didn't do anything about this week because the only thing I know about this week is that the Veilguard came out.
Yeah, so it's kind of pointless because if you want to know what's going on in the universe, Rick and I are kind of talking about that in today's episode anyway. So we won't be looking at the music chart or movie releases because we don't care about either of those things because we are old and cranky. So yeah, those of you familiar with the show know that before we jump into the review / reaction itself, we like to talk about our weeks and the goings-on in the wide universe. Rick, how's your week been, buddy?
Well, as I've just mentioned, the Veilguard came out. I managed to get through character creation, and it crashed. This wasn't even the first crash that I had. I had multiple crashes while it was even compiling shaders, so the PC port has some work to do.
Yeah, Rick got this game on the PC. I got this game on the PlayStation. I have had no issues. I'm smiling as I talk because I'm like, ha ha ha, I win.
Yep.
Yeah, we could briefly talk about the character creating experience, Rick. I gotta tell you, don't like the character creator in this game.
No, like, most of it is okay, but the thing I really don't like is the 3 faces thing, where you can blend your face as a combination of 3 face presets, because none of them look distinct from the thumbnails, so you have to go 100% one face to find out what you're blending.
Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing as well, Rick, is I've played a good chunk of the game. I've played the game for about 4 hours ish.
Sure.
Your character looks a lot lot better in game than they do in the character creator.
Sure, yeah, I'll feel that.
It's so weird.
Yeah. And Kunari look like Megamind. Like, all of them do.
They don't look like Megamind, but they don't look good.
Yeah. Like, I would like if there was like a sliding scale of Quidian from Dragon Age Absolution, who was incredibly adorable, to the Arishok from Dragon Age 2, who was incredibly grizzled.
I think the actual big problem here is that Kunari, above all other races in Dragon Age, have gone through so many different design choices, and on top of that, every single art style has rendered them so different from what the previous incarnations that it's kind of fucked up their identity.
Yeah. I think the forehead thing is just a way of going, yeah, we need to make the horns look good because they're now part of the identity, and just having them stick out of your hair is not going to be satisfying to a lot of people. But I'm like, I'd rather that because I want hair to look good. I've already got a receding hairline. I don't want it on my big buff lady who's meant to look good.
Well, that's the thing as well, is like they also don't look that buff anymore.
No, they don't. Like, even if you go maximum buff, like, they don't look that buff anymore.
Like,
They're just tall.
I've not fucked with the sliders on Kunari because my rook is a human, because of course it's me. I always play a human, and I'm one of those. But the brief look I did look at the Kunari is that they've made them all very, at least the player character ones, look all very tall and slender, and it's like, fucking, that was meant to be the elf still.
Yeah.
Wow, less so tall. There's a moth flying around my fucking microphone. Fuck off.
Yeah. It's just one of those. Like, it's so weird. It's so weird. Like, the other thing though is I only ever play human when I don't have a choice. So, like, Commander Shepard.
Hawk.
Yeah, and Hawk. Yeah, Hawk and Shepard.
Well,
whenever I've got a choice, I play something else because I'm a human all day.
I like to play human because it's the easiest to make a human look like a character. Like,
sure.
In a lot of games, the problem with different races is they make your character look very not nice to look at.
Well, I don't know. Like, a lot of the time, it's just human with pointy ears or human with green skin.
I don't want either of those things. I'm not criticising people who do want that. Go nuts. I don't care. It's your game. It's your character. I just like to be default and look like, I don't know, an enhanced version of me that wasn't fat. I'm not kidding. When I create characters in games that are meant to represent me as a player, they look like me, except they're jacked.
Sure. Sure.
I don't know about class for you, Rick, but I usually default to a warrior in my first playthrough in Dragon Age games because it's cool playing as a great sword-wielding fucker. In this game, I was like, mages always get the cool toys, so I'm just going to play as a mage for my first playthrough.
Yeah, I'm aware that you've got a choice between the basic staff, which is the same as it always been, and the dagger and ball.
I don't like the dagger and ball.
Okay.
As a moveset, I'm not a fan. That's a thing, by the way, in this game. I'm going to assume it applies to warriors and rogues as well. As far as your main character is concerned, you just get both weapon sets in your moveset at all times.
Okay.
There doesn't sit. Again, it might play differently because mages don't focus on weapon stuff, but sure. I suspect that you've got the exact same button. You press down on the D-pad if you're using a controller anyway, and it switches your weapon over.
Sure. Well, that was kind of a thing in Dragon Age 2 at least, where you had like your melee and your ranged abilities for like rogues in particular.
Yeah, but you didn't change weapons
between them. Okay.
But you didn't, did you?
Well, I know Varric didn't because he's Varric, but I thought like your main character did. But oh well, apparently I never played rogue.
Why would you play rogue? Both rogues are cool in that game. Where we don't count Sebastian.
Yep. Sebastian even gets mogged by Varric's existence. Like. You've already got a ranged person who has more charisma.
Yeah, the game itself, I've played a bit of it, and I won't spoil it, but I'll tell you this, Rick. I've played it for a couple of hours. I've had 3 progress achievements.
Sweet.
No, not sweet. It feels very quick, and it's alarming me.
Okay.
I don't know if future, like, they don't... You know how in other games you've got very clear, here's Act 1, here's Act 2, here's Act 3?
Right, yeah.
In this game, I've got an achievement for beating Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3. I don't know how many parts there are in this game, but all of those parts took like less than an hour.
Yeah. kind of weird.
Again, they might stretch out future parts. I don't like calling them parts either because it sounds very unprofessional.
Yeah, I think they're trying to maybe evoke an episodic kind of feel, like an Absolution kind of length of achievement.
That sucks.
Kinda, yeah.
But listen, Rick, I'll tell you this. Once you've gotten the first 2 part achievements, when your game actually works and you play it, you'll know exactly what my gripe is. I can't tell you what my gripe is without spoiling stuff.
Okay.
So, and I will also say this. I've met a character who is just Entraptor, and I love them.
Cool.
So look forward to that.
Good shit. Do you have a romance target yet?
No, because here's the thing. I've beaten 3 parts. I've still only got the basic bitch fucking party.
Sure.
Like, I've got the first 2 characters in the game who are Nev and Harding.
Sure.
Well, and this character who's Entraptor, I guess I recruited them as well, but, they don't really count.
Sure beans.
You'll know why. I will say, I was almost instantly smitten with Nev.
Yes. She's someone who I was interested in just from pre-release materials. The only downside is that I've basically picked everything the same as her, in that I am a Shadow Dragon person from Minrathous who is a mage.
Yeah, I also have all those things, and it just means you get on with her better.
Okay, cool.
There's dialogue options that are exclusive to if you are a Shadow Dragon, and if you're a Shadow Dragon, you're automatically from Minrathous, which means there's dialogue options that you pick which have a giant snake icon that's the Tevinter logo, and if you pick that when you're talking to Nev is like, yeah, you get it.
Sweet. Alrighty, I'm happy.
And it gives you a little message in the bottom saying, Nev approves.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm holding fire until I meet the hot Kunari lady, because I don't know when she's going to show up, but I know she's a party member, because trailers said. So it basically depends on how she acts, because if she's a dickhead, then I'll probably be going after either Entraptor or Nev. I kind of don't like Harding.
Yeah, fair enough. Apparently the big Kunari lady is a twin axe wielder.
Cool. That's very cool, but yeah. Wait, does that mean they're a rogue?
Nope, they're a warrior that have 2 axes.
So that's unique to them then. Then again, because you don't control party members in this game, they can just give them unique bullshit.
Oh yeah. You can have a rogue who is like unarmed or whatever for as far as the game cares.
Rick, there's a character who is, but for all intents and purposes, a mage, but they use a bow.
Yes.
And it's like,
Kinda
fuck
cool.
off, that's breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
I've got some very lore issues with this game as well, but again, we'll talk about that once we both can actually talk about it without spoiling one another.
Yep.
We're still on your week, buddy.
Oh, we're still on my week. Okay. I thought that we were talking about. I thought we would introduce that as things that came out this week. But yes, my week. I went to see Venom 3, and it very definitely was the 3 of Venoms.
Yeah, you said this to me. I'm watching it tomorrow, so it's one of those where I've seen the other 2. I didn't like Venom 2. I didn't like Venom 1, but at least with Venom 2, they kind of tried to do the Total Carnage storyline. It's just, you can't do that at less than an 18. And I'm going to assume there's similar problems with Venom 3 in that, man, this film would have been cool if it was an 18.
Yeah, you can feel, like, times when it's been sanitized.
Yeah. I feel really bad for Tom Hardy, man, because he gives it his all in that role, and they're just not giving him fuck all.
No. And, it's, like I say, it very much is the 3 of Venoms. I'm excited to see what you think of it next week.
I mean, we already know that there is a certain villain showing up in that film because, there was people bitching about it on the interwebs.
Oh, yeah. The people who made the character found out from a trailer that character was going to be in it.
Yeah, and again, I'm pretty sure that Sony already had the rights to that character, so they didn't get paid.
Oh, yeah.
So fuck them. Like, by all means, try and get a penny out of it. But like, if it was sold as the bulk deal to Sony for their cinematic universe, you're shit out of luck, buddy.
Yeah. Also, Halloween happened, as you will also know from Veilguard coming out because it happened on the same day. And my Halloween costume was a comb over, and I scared small children.
Okay.
I brushed my hair forward, put some sunglasses on, did the whole cousin it thing, and the small children did not know what to think of this and hid behind their parents, and their parents were pissing themselves laughing. It was fantastic.
Fair enough.
Out in the wide world,
nope. do Helluva Boss first.
Okay, yes. This is kind of the interplay of personal and world. The latest Helluva Boss came out, season 2, episode 9, was it?
Episode 10.
Episode 10, yeah.
One of us actually takes notes when they write notes, guys.
Okay, I didn't even write a note on this because I just watched it and enjoyed it. I watched it and enjoyed it. It was a Millie-focused episode.
Okay, it was about 50-50.
Yeah, Millie and Blitz are in it, and Moxie and Luna are side gags, and yeah.
The episode was never going to be serious. It's called Ghost Fuckers.
Oh, yeah. And as is the way, part of it gets really real.
Yeah,
but it ends on a generally high note for everyone.
I'm really in two minds of this episode because on the one hand, as always, the animation was beautiful. The fight scenes, what little we got, were enjoyable. I'm getting sick of Blitz and his bullshit, and it's and it's one of those annoying things where it's something I want to criticize, but at the same time, you can't criticize it too much because that's the fucking point. But it's just like, I get it. He's a piece of shit, and he thinks he's a piece of shit, and everyone's like, you're not that much of a piece of shit, but he is though. Yeah,
because I think the worst part of it is that the other characters are kind of enabling it because they're all saying you're not that bad, and they're getting him back to his old self, which is kind of the point, but also it's not gonna be a good resolution if he just goes back to exactly the way that he was before.
I don't know, man. They've been teasing us for like a year and a bit now, probably more, that by the way the fire Blitz caused totally killed his own mum, and we got semi-confirmation, but it's like the 5th time it's been semi-confirmed.
Like
it's like, we get it. He did this. If at this point, if they do a swerve and actually Blitz didn't cause the fire, or Blitz didn't kill his mother via the fire, then it's like, oh, all of these were red herrings, and that's just having a swerve for the sake of having a swerve. So it's one of those where they're drilling the point home, and it better be the actual point at this point.
Like you can see the swerve for the sake of the swerve coming a mile off.
Yeah. And again, it was always implied, but we got pretty explicit glimpses that, Blitz got beaten the shit out of by his dad.
Yes.
Which, again, it's set in hell. No one's nice here.
No.
I think Millie's backstory is also a bit garbage, but whatever.
Yeah, like, I think this is the first time that we see that Millie and Blitz are actually, like, good friends.
No, we kind of knew. Well, again, it's show don't tell, isn't it? Like, we could pick up from the way things go on. When they're not on a job, they're pretty pally, or at least, put up with each other's bullshit in the case of Millie towards Blitz. The thing that I'm confused about is, well, not confused about, but sort of poo-poo, is Millie was always a badass.
Yes.
It's just weird.
Yeah. Oh, well.
I get it. The idea is meant to be that Blitz has this vision and we can be better than those fucks think we are, and it very much plays into his character. But it's just like, Millie could always do this shit, and it's only because they needed a reason for Millie to owe Blitz.
Yeah. Like, so the reason they do is they just have her stuck in wrath like all the rest of imps.
Yeah. Although even that's not true, because we know Greed's got a bunch of imps as well.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what, the thing that actually generally surprised me is that Millie and Moxie weren't already a couple when Blitz made his company.
Yeah. That was a bit weird, but it's kind of cute to see that there is a little bit to find out about that.
I mean, I don't think there's much to find out about it. I think that's as much of a glimpse as we're going to get.
Oh yeah, totally. But there is the door open for exploring that in future if they need to. Even if all they do is put it in one of the shorts.
But again, that doesn't seem to be what shorts are for. Shorts are for dumb bullshit, not for lore.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my take. I could be completely fucking wrong.
Yeah, I think the shorts now are for doing IMP missions.
Yeah, except we got one in the main episode.
Yeah.
Speaking of, their target being a fucking really badly humanized Alastor.
Oh, yeah. And at the end, just going, fuck hotels.
as soon as I saw his design, I went, oh, they just want to have a dig at people, didn't they?
Yeah. Fuck hotels.
Well, that was Blitz, right? On his way
Yeah, it
out.
was. He said,
Yeah.
it says at the end, yeah.
That sounds like a real dig at whoever making the split between Has-Been and Helluva, because again, like my knowledge isn't as up to date on Has-Been really, but I do know that originally Blitz and Moxie were going to be imps that occasionally stayed at the hotel.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little fun jab at that behind the scenes bullshit.
Yeah.
It's one of those. It's just the constant hammering of certain points that we've already had hammered into us. I'm not a fan of. It's I'm not poo-pooing the show. It's something everything does. I just am not a personal fan of it.
Sure. Yeah, in general, I like the episode, and yeah, I appreciate your grievance with certain smaller choices that are just a bit of a niggling thing.
I didn't even dislike the episode. It's just, it could have had other things here.
Yeah. Meanwhile, out in the world.
Okay.
Well, I mean, how much more do you want to talk about Helluva Boss?
I just wanted to say I thought the Luna and Moxie side gag was awesome.
Oh, it was cute. Yeah, it was very cute. I do like how Luna was paying enough attention that she was able to immediately notice that Moxie had done wrong. And then carry him off before he set the whole thing on fire.
Yeah, and then Ghostfucker's got a musical, because that's the only way to make Moxie watch anything is if it's a musical.
Yeah. But yes, the iPhone is now illegal in Indonesia.
What does this mean, Rick?
So, Apple promised to donate and invest a certain amount of money into Indonesia's mobile network infrastructure, and they invested just over half of this, and because it's a breach of contract, the Indonesian government has said, okay, the iPhone 16 is now illegal until you fulfill this contract, and can be confiscated on site.
Okay, how much of a breach of contract is this? I haven't got the legal document in front of me. What did they actually fuck up and not fulfill their promise within the timeline, or is Indonesia just getting impatient?
They've this is past the deadline, and it's like they got done about 60% of what they promised to do.
Yeah,
and they're making way more than the difference just by selling iPhones.
Yeah, no shit.
I
just want to point out, I'm not sticking up for Apple here. I just want to know what the actual circumstance is, because there's a lot of bias in certain media reportings at the best of times. So I just wanted to make sure.
The weird thing is only the iPhone 16 that's banned.
Well, that's the one. That's the one that's going to make the money, Rick.
Yeah, but also iPhones have looked the same for quite a long time. I think the last one that looks different is like the iPhone 6.
I couldn't tell you. I've never had an iPhone.
Yeah. Like they all look like iPhones. I think the only thing that's different about it is this one has a different button, so you're gonna have to take the case off them to see if the button is there before it gets confiscated.
Yeah, well, I'm not really going to criticize Indonesia for this. Like, I don't think anyone would. Apple's might throw a minor bitch fit, but if they care that much, as you say, they've got the funds, they can just instantly fulfill their promise at this point and be like, there, unban our shit.
Yeah. The Vatican has an anime
I got
mascot.
this written down.
Yeah.
She's called Luce.
Yeah, which is what, light.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird looking at the picture of this old like cardinal just like doing the Catholic hand towards this 3D printed Luce, who looks rather cute. But
yeah, it's a pretty generic, just anime cutesy design. It's not just Luce. She's got a few friends. I don't know what their names are.
Okay, I've not seen the friends. I've seen Luce. I've seen that she's got like the stick with the fork in it. I've seen that the shine in her eyes is looks like a shell. And she's got an anorak on and apparently no pants.
Yeah, probably. She is an anime girl.
Yeah,
I've seen a picture of her. It's Dracula from Castlevania.
Okay.
Pointing at this little adorable Luce, and Luce's like, oh, with the power of Christ and anime on my side, I will smite you. And it's just at Dracula pointing towards her going, what is up with this sassy lost child? It's very funny. She was also, unsurprisingly, instantly looted.
Oh, yes. I heard about that as well, mostly from the fact that the same same sources that let me know that she has no pants.
Oh, fair do, Lubro. But
Yes,
yeah, I've seen the artwork. They've unsurprisingly, almost every single piece of artwork has made her look more like an actual human woman rather than the chibi anime girl she is. And
they make her an of-age human woman and not a nendoroid. Yeah.
And to put it bluntly, she sucks cocks for the love of Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure the Vatican are real happy with this result.
Jimmy Pesto's voice actor Jay Johnston has been sentenced to 12 months in federal prison for the January the 6th riots.
I thought you were going to say he died.
No.
Yeah, no, you mentioned this, that Bob's Burgers just doesn't have Jimmy Pesto anymore.
Yeah, so he didn't. It's not a Jimmy Pesto since he did that, but also, yeah, he's now in prison for a year. So good.
It's a pretty light sentence.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, considering we're about to have the next election, it's taken a long time for this to process.
I mean, well, the problem is all they got to do is appeal it until they get to the Supreme Court, where over half the Supreme Court are still Trump buddies.
Yeah.
So,
or even worse, if Trump gets in, he can just pardon everybody.
Yeah, but he won't.
Well, I don't know. If he gets in, he might do, because that was the point.
He won't pardon everybody. He'll pardon the people he cares about.
Oh yeah, he'll pardon the ones that he can make money out of.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, I'm not saying that because he's not that unscrupulous. He's absolutely that unscrupulous. But he's not just going to pardon everybody because that's not profitable for him at all. No.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those interesting things. You mentioned the election because by the time we have our next podcast, guys, your US election would have happened.
Yes.
And we'll be finding out. We'll be finding out what the fuck's the state of the world going to be for the next 4 years and beyond if a certain fucker wins. But we won't dwell on that. What I will say is, rather interestingly, tangentially, wrestling news. It pretty much Vince McMahon is trying to kickstart a entertainment company.
Okay.
And at the moment, it's not getting off the ground because they're holding fire. Because it basically all depends on the results of this election. Because if Trump gets in, Vince McMahon's probably going to be pardoned of every single crime he's ever done because they're mates. And then he can just then he can just build his fucking new entertainment company without an issue. If that doesn't happen, then Vince McMahon's going to have to fight a fucking federal indictment.
Yep. And have to build his company in Cuba or whatever.
Which, and that federal indictment has nothing to do with the awful abuse charges levied at him from multiple sources at this point. You've got both Jeanette Grant and the victims of the Ring Boy scandal. But we won't dwell on that any further. There's plenty online if you want to look up more.
Yeah. Google is being sued by Russia for $20 decillion, and by the time this goes out, it'll be $40 decillion. That's 2 followed by 31 zeros.
Yeah.
And for context, planet Earth's GDP is estimated to be $100 trillion, which is 14 zeros. So they're basically asking for the amount of money earned by everyone on Earth in a year multiplied by itself, and that's still not even enough.
Here's the thing, Rick, is I found out that I saw this piece of news this morning, but not because of any reason other than someone took a screenshot from Austin Powers of Dr. Evil going, "I want $20 gazillion," and then it just cuts to the room full of NATO and UN representatives just bursting out laughing.
Yeah, that amount of money doesn't even exist.
That ain't gonna fucking happen, man. What do you mean Russia's suing Google either? What are they suing them for? What possible reason? It's probably something to do with the war.
Yeah, so when Google stopped supplying Russia with Google because of the war, a lot of people are like, oh, well, we rely on Google to make money, and because you're stopping us making money, we're doing $1,000 per day, doubled every week, and it's been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, but by that logic, then Russia's going to sue every single European country because everyone sanctioned them to fucking high waters.
Yeah.
Like, and Google was just like, everyone's sanctioning them anyway. And we it's not a good look actively assisting war crimes, so we're gonna just quietly withdraw from this area of the world. And then Elon Musk snuck in with Starlink.
Yeah.
Don't fucking let him get off the hook here.
No. And the last one is that a $90 World of Warcraft mount has been so popular that it's caused the entire gold selling market to sell out of gold buying tokens.
I don't know how World of Warcraft's gold system works, but that sounds stupid.
Yeah, so you can pay $20 for a token that is worth $15 worth of store credit, and then sell it on the player market for gold. So that's how you can essentially quote unquote legally buy gold without going through a gold seller. In that you just get it off the market. You get it off the market, and the entire market agrees what the price is going to be.
That's fucking really stupid. There should be no way in your system to buy gold.
Oh yeah, I agree. But this is their way of dealing with it, because there was a thing of gold farming. There still is a thing of gold farming, because apparently you can just buy gold cheaper and not have to give the $5 or the 25% to Blizzard every time you do it. But oh well. Like basically, if you're good enough at the game, you can just buy these tokens and use them to pay for your sub. So I kind of get where that is, and people that just want money in game can just buy these tokens and put them up on the market.
Yeah, I don't like. I just don't like the system in general.
But yeah, the fact that this is a $90 mount, and the only thing there's two things that are good about it. It looks good, but it also, when you park it, it counts as everything that matters about a town. So it's got like a mailbox and an auction house attached to it. But it's like a big old robot Stegosaurus, which just looks pretty cool.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is like Final Fantasy's mounts, they don't have any practical effects. They just look cool.
Yeah. The only ones that have a different effect are ones that have additional seats.
Yeah, but even then, like, you can get mounts in-game. Like, they gave away the fucking FF15 car for free.
Yeah, the car. And that's the best one, because it's the, A, it looks good, and B, it's small. Like, it's not, like, the size of the massive fucking whale that you have to have a picnic on top of.
Yeah, but I like the Lunar Whale. It's cool.
It's cool, but, like, it looks silly in certain situations where you want to, stealth around.
But there's no stealth in that game.
Oh yeah, not since Endwalker.
Yeah, but even the stealth parts of that game were instances, so therefore, who gives a fuck?
Yeah, plus it was... They looked at your character model and not... Sorry, they looked at your character pixel, not your character model, so you could literally have a massive lunar whale poking out from the side of a rock, and Urianger just goes, I see nothing wrongeth here.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Who owns fucking Warcraft?
Blizzard.
Yeah, okay, that fucking, like... Let's be honest, Blizzard have been kings of fucking milking money out of players.
Yeah,
Some can point to them almost directly as to leading the... I don't want to say cancer, because that feels like a harsh word, but I'm going to use it anyway. The cancer that has blighted the video game community for, like, the last 15 years.
Yeah. They're not the only ones, but yes.
Not the only ones. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they led the charge and have been leading the charge for a good while.
Yeah, they've been rubbing their hands rather vigorously on things that they do. Yeah, so.
We can actively compare them to the devil, because one of the greatest tricks they ever did was making EA the fucking poster child for all this bullshit for like a year and a half.
Oh yeah, and that even sticks to this day. Like, people still think EA are cocks because of the demonization.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
It's all true, but
EA didn't help themselves. They dug themselves a real grave with Star Wars Battlefront. But not Ubisoft. Blizzard did a real good job of being like, we're just gonna silently do some things while they dig a grave, and we'll throw some dirt on the grave while we're digging our own.
Yeah. But yes, that's about it for things that I've seen and things that I've done. How have you been? What have you seen?
Rick, the Hades 2 big update came out. I mentioned this last week.
Ah, yes.
I gave it a bit of a play. So what they've done is they've added an entire new section to the Olympus route.
Okay.
So in that game, there's 2 routes. The game's been out for long enough that I don't care. It's not really a spoiler. You got the Underworld, which is the normal classic route, and when you do some stuff, eventually you can go upwards to the Olympus route. And they've added a new boss at the end of that route, who is voiced by fucking Ben Starr.
Ah, sweet. The Cliveman.
Yeah, and his voice is just his voice. He does nothing to it. So this route does a few things. It's brought back a couple of gods from the previous game that weren't in it until now. The one most people are happy about is Athena is back.
Okay.
Because you know why Athena's important. Her skills all give you deflect and
Okay.
extra guard. Well, you played a bit of Hades. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
And I've only met her once. She has a very cool introduction scene. And yeah, the new boss is it's not even. I'm not classing it as a spoiler because he's on the box now.
Sure.
It's fucking. Oh, I've forgotten his name. Fuck. Prometheus.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't know this, but apparently he's the Titan of Foresight.
Okay.
Which, because the only Prometheus story I'm aware of is obviously he stole fire and gave it to mortals, and for that he was chained to a rock, and an eagle would eat his liver, and the liver would reform every day.
Yeah. It's the regeneration curse, and he just keeps getting tortured by it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a horrible, horrible thing. But he's okay now. He got better.
I got better.
His character design is pretty but a nice detail he's got is he's got a scar across his chest, and his waist is bandaged.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's where his liver has been healing for quite some time.
Exactly. And apparently he's formed some kind of truce with the eagle that was eating his liver.
I'm full now.
Well, here's the thing: is we don't really know the story behind that or why. Maybe it's explained if you. I've not beaten him. I've done run. I managed to get to him. I was quite happy, and then he kicked my ass. But yeah, he's just got an eagle that's part of his attack pattern, and I'm like, okay, so I guess you're friends now. Yeah. When he beats you, the boss for the other route talks to you and says, "Did you really think you'd win? He's the Titan of Foresight. He has seen my victory." It's like, oh, fuck off, you old fuck. Yeah. A lot of sprites have been added. We've got new enemy types because we've got a whole new enemy, an entire new zone. So of course that makes sense. Those enemies all hit hard. I very much predict that they'll be nerfed.
Okay, fair enough.
And as with everything, I'm pretty sure Prometheus will be nerfed as a fight as well. His damage numbers are insane, and his HP pool is very high.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I haven't really got much else to say. Yeah, as I said, they've added a new sprites. There's a bunch of characters who had placeholder graphics.
Okay.
They've just got proper designs now. So Redacted appears in the final area of the underworld, and he's now got a proper nice sprite instead of what is clearly a sketch. Charon has got a proper drawing, and a bunch of other NPCs that before just had, again, these placeholders. So yeah, the game's looking prettier with every update. And we've got the final weapon as well, has now been added to the game.
Okay, what's the new weapon?
I've not used it yet. I've literally just unlocked it and had a quick look. It appears to be a jetpack.
Ah, sweet.
It fires missiles.
Okay. I assume that's kind of more of a support thing for someone who is a primary caster.
Here's the thing: is its charge move gives you a block.
Right. Okay.
So it feels like a mix of the gun and the shield from Hades 1.
Right. Okay.
But I'd have to use it more to have a more definitive actual answer for you. At the moment, the only weapons I'm good at are still the bog standard Witch's Staff and the twin daggers. So yeah, Rick doesn't have much to say about Hades 2, so we'll move on.
No.
Rick, I finished FF9.
Okay, again.
Well, I was talking about it last week, and I told you I'd talk about it again this week.
Yeah.
I pretty much... Okay, so Dragon Age Veilguard I've had on my console for a day and a half before it actually unlocked, and October the 31st, the day it came out, was a very annoying day because it was still locked until 4 in the PM.
Yes, it was bothersome.
So I was like, I need to do things to keep myself distracted before the game comes out. So I finished FF9. I've done everything that matters to me. Beaten Ozma, I've gotten all the treasures, I've beaten Kuja and Necron, and even now, I'm looking at Necron and going, boy, you fucking come out of nowhere.
Yeah, he does.
It kind of makes sense to a degree. Like, Kuja fucked up and the whole world needs to be destroyed, and he talks like Yoda. I still don't know why that's just the weirdest. He has the whole fucking hate leads to suffering fucking speech.
He does.
It's so weird. I beat Ozma. Officially, that's my first time ever beating Ozma. I've just never fucked with him. I feel like I over-prepared for that fight.
Like, it's very easy to over-prepare for the entire end game.
Oh, yeah, man. If you beat the game normally, it would be very odd for you to be level 50. Level 50 is a high end game level for FF9, bog standard. I was level 71 because I was like, I need to beat Ozma.
Yeah.
Why do I use the wording that I've done everything that's worth doing in that game? Because there's about 20 achievements I've not gotten.
Okay.
And all they are is achievements to pad out the game. Like, one of them is to kill 1,000 enemies. Even with all my grinding, I only killed 850.
Okay.
And there's another achievement after that, which is kill 10,000. And I'm like, this is literally just to waste people's time. So yeah, defeating 10,000 enemies it's just to eat your time. And you've got achievements for doing 100 skips in the skip rope and then 1,000. And I'm like, fuck that mini game.
Yeah. It's worse than frickin' doing the thing for Lulu's thing in 10, because at least you got the ultimate weapon from that.
Yeah, I don't even know what you get a key item that you can only get from skipping rope, and I think that's it.
Yeah, it's not even like for killing or like eating infinity oglops and getting that. Like, it's not for any of the ultimate weapons anyway, is it?
No, I got all the ultimate weapons. You'd be surprised. About 50% of the party's ultimate weapons are just found on the ground in Memoria.
Yeah. Like Zidane, you have to do Chocobo hot and cold, and that's about it. Yeah.
You need to have the ocean ability, but even then, that's only like the third ability.
Yeah.
Although
that one really fucking sucks. I hate that one.
Okay, here's the thing, Rick. Is that's another thing I've noticed with replaying FF9 is fuck. I hate 9/10 of the minigames.
Yes. Just minigames in general. Like, okay, some of them work, but like the majority of them just weren't fun.
Well, let's see here. Tetramaster can eat a dick. At the beginning of Disc 3, you can race a hippo.
Yeah, alright.
And it's not the worst minigame in the world, except if you want to beat it and get the key item, that if you get that key item, you get a cool item in an ATE later on, you have to beat him until he's level 80, which doesn't sound too bad, because if you beat him by more than a second, it increases his level by 5. If you don't, it increases his level by 1. If you're really bad at this minigame, you potentially have to do it 80 times.
Fuck me, yeah.
And you're going to have to do it at least 20, because once he gets to level 55, he is annoyingly fast.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
You can beat him consistently, but you can't beat him by a whole second.
Yeah, sure. I don't remember this, but it's also been 20 years.
Yeah, you probably didn't do it, because, I did it because I was like, what shit can I miss in Alexandria? I don't think I normally do that. Now I see why.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like 20 years since I played FF9.
You should replay it. It's a good game, especially with this Memorial mod. Sorry, Magura.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not much else to add, really. The fights are so short.
They are.
They are. The reason why these boss fights took me forever when I used to play is because stealing is a shit mechanic in that game.
Oh, yes. And even trying to get round it by using Mug instead of Steel, that doesn't work because you just burn through the health pool.
Yeah, but that's all Mug does, is it just makes your Steel a damaging attack. No. What you need is Master Thief and Bandit.
Yeah.
But even then, that doesn't guarantee you a steal. It just means that you're more likely to steal an item of increased rarity from the opponent, which,
the secondary item, yeah.
Well, here's the thing, is like there are 4 slots for each enemy in that game, and the highest ranking slot is a 1 in 256 chance of stealing with no added mechanics.
Yep.
I get it. The main character's a thief and you're going to have him throughout the game. However, fuck you.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's really obvious why these boss fights were difficult when I played this game without the steal, basically a cheat. And that's because you have to make the fight last for fucking ever for a chance at stealing these things.
Yeah, it's like Pokeball syndrome. Like, beating the fight is not the problem. It's not winning for long enough to do something that's RNG based. Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. I love Final Fantasy. It's my favourite game of all time. That's probably never going to change. Minigames suck.
Yep.
Another video game news. I've obviously continued to play Romance of the Three Kingdoms 8 remake.
Yeah.
Last week I only played an hour. This week I've played a significant amount more. The AI in combat is really dumb.
Yep.
It's very stupid. It doesn't know what it's doing, which isn't a problem as far as the opponent is concerned, but it is a problem when it comes to your allies.
Oh man, so all of your allies are just bound by crap AI. Oh man.
Yeah, so okay, here's how that game works. If you're only an officer, you only control your unit in combat.
Right.
And there's been more than one occasion where I've controlled my section of the army where I've been a governor of a city-state, and my allies have requested reinforcements. I've gone there, I've controlled my army, which is usually only 2 units because I don't have that many officers in my city. And the place I'm assisting only has 1 unit on the map, and it's like, okay, the enemy only has to wipe out that 1 unit and they win.
Yeah, so even if you get there there like almost in time, all they have to do is like a little bit of effort, and yeah.
So here's where the problem comes in: is the officer I'm controlling is a custom officer because I like doing that shit, and my officer is good at cavalry, so I'm always leading a cavalry unit. So I can go across the battlefield pretty fucking quick. As can my other unit. We charge in, we hold up the enemy force. We only have to kill half of them because they've got their own reinforcements. Who cares about the reinforcements? They don't count towards the victory condition.
You jog for your life and save the day.
However, what happens is me and my other unit, I have to position them in a way that they form almost a wall. But what will happen is it will go to the one unit who's defending the city that I'm coming to assist's castle, and they go, oh, the enemy's there, and they come in and join the combat, and it's like, oh, you dense motherfucker. Just stay over there. And again, this isn't a problem if you're a governor or or just straight up the leader of your force. You get to control the whole battlefield. So you can just be like, stay over there. However, that then requires me having to do more work when I'm not in combat.
Yeah, fair enough. Enough. Yeah, I can see how that would be frustrating.
Yeah, it's a great game. Combat AI could use a bit of work.
Prime modding potential, if someone cares.
Oh, it's one of those. It's not the end of the world. It's just... And also, sometimes my force will attack someone on the opposite side of our country.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at the unit strengths and the amount of officers we have compared to them, and I'm like, how did you not crush them? You had twice the troops and double the officers. You should absolutely swamp them. And it's like, I don't fucking know, man. And they're led by Lu Bu. I've seen his unit stats. He's got 500 strength.
Yeah.
Mine's got like 230. That's the context here.
Yep. And that's the character that you've been building all this time.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, it's one of those. The AI is dumb. I don't like it. I've got to work around it. Ready for some news?
Yeah, let's go.
Marlon Wayans officially announces on Twitter that him and his brothers are returning for the new Scary Movie.
Oh, okay.
Apparently they're going to be on the writing team, so it's not as quite as exciting as them reprising their characters, but hey, who cares? That means there's going to be a new Scary Movie. I think that means we're on 6 now.
Yeah, fair enough, because I've only seen the first one, as we said, reasonably recently.
Yeah, the first 3 Scary Movies are great, but 4 and onwards are shit. I don't think I've even seen 5. But yes, in other news, we have suffered a blow to video game conservation, Rick.
Oh, is this about the Internet Archive being essentially fined massively?
No, I don't know what that's about, so we'll skip that for the moment. There's a great little article by one Dustin Bailey over on Game Radar. I would highly recommend reading it, but here's his headline, so it should... It should, or rather his comment on the story, so it should tell you where he stands. And his quote goes like this: "This fails the needs of citizens in favour of a weak source argument from the industry, and it's really disappointing."
Yeah.
So the crux of this story is, and again, I'm not going to give you the entire article word for word because I just think you should read it. It's only like 500 words. It's not a long article. It doesn't need to be. But effectively, for the past 3 years, the Video Game History Foundation has been supporting with Software Preservation Network, SPN, on a petition to allow libraries and archives to remotely share digital access to, and I quote, out-of-print video games in their collections. The reason why this was declined is because publishers are terrified that if we preserve video games, they might be used for recreational purposes, and we can't have that.
Yeah. These things that they still think they deserve full price for, even though they've been out of print for longer than they were, available.
It's one of those really annoying things where when the argument is specifically saying video games that are out of print, i.e. can't buy anymore, why do you care? Yeah,
like the only way to buy them is to buy used. And they've demonstrably demonstrated that they don't care. But oh well.
Man, I still remember the grim days of 2008 to about 2012 when they were fighting the fight to try and decentivize buying secondhand as hard as they could.
Yeah, we were talking about that recently. Like EA were the bitches for it. Like blocking off the multiplayer in Mass Effect unless you bought unless you either got it new or bought the DLC to be able to re-enable it. Ooh, it was a bad time.
Yeah, the DLC was like 20 quid as well. So if you bought that game used for 20 quid and then had to pay 20 quid to play the multiplayer, you're effectively paying full price anyway.
Yeah. All you're doing is letting someone get 20 quid out of a game that they presumably didn't like.
Anyway, Rick and I have always championed archiving everything, and video games is no exception. And, there's an argument to be made for emulating games that you can still buy. I don't agree with that to a certain degree. Unless, of course, someone is selling a game that isn't yours.
Yeah.
If someone has something in their terms of service that, even though you've bought this thing from us, you don't actually own it, you're allowed to steal it.
Yeah. If purchase doesn't give ownership, then copying doesn't equal theft.
It's one of those really funny things where I think it was a Tumblr post where I'm not actually stealing anything for pirating a movie. If I pirate a copy of Pirates of the Caribbean, that doesn't mean other people can't watch it anymore.
Oh, yeah. Like, that's the whole point of theft. It's not, like, theft is the whole point of depriving the original owner of the thing.
Yeah, it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh, especially when they say, I wish if I did pirate a movie, it did mean other people can't watch it.
Yeah, because I would pirate a movie that I hate multiple times, so nobody else has to suffer through it.
But yeah, last but not least, Rick, the Dodgers won their 8th World Series. I don't give a fuck. However, the internet for some reason is saying this is all thanks to Gura.
Yep. It was Blue Women Day apparently. I think Gura, Pekora, and Susei. Only one of which could speak English fluently, and they were singing. Didn't they sing "Take Me Out of the Ball Game"? Was it?
Dude, I don't know. I just found it really funny that what was trending was Gura. I clicked on it, and it was a bunch of baseball fans going, "Thanks for winning us the game, Gura." And I'm like, what the fuck happened here? Like, literally fucking Scott Lang.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those. Of all the people that have won the World Series, only one team had VTubers.
Yeah, but at the same time, this is their fucking 8th time winning it.
Yeah.
It's not like they were nobodies, that's all I'm saying.
No.
But yeah, anyway, we've spoken a long time on news today, partly because we bitched about quite a few things. Rick, what are we actually doing today?
We're doing the Earth Guy. We've been doing the other episodes of this so far, and we're diving in with episode 4. So this is on Animated's main channel on YouTube. If you'd like to join along with us at home, it's 3, 2, 1, and go.
Yeah, so this is episode 4, Planet Presentation. And it's got 37k views by the time we were watching it.
Yeah, we're a little bit behind on this, but not by much.
I mean, we're only watching this a week after we would have done otherwise. Unfortunately, this came out while we were doing our Scooby-Doo bullshit, so... So yeah, this came out while we were doing our Scooby-Doo bullshit, so that's why we didn't watch it during our Scooby-Doo week. Instead of piggybacking off that, Rick just did a funny laugh.
Yeah, because our Scooby-Doo bullshit was, it was very definitely Scooby-Doo, and it was very definitely bullshit.
It's fucking Handsome Jack.
It is a bit. Cloudbeard.
I'm Beard Cloudet.
Dr. Beard Cloudet.
That's actually really nicely animated.
It is.
I know it's only a simple effect, but still.
It is.
Who wants to go to the planet of the furry babes?
Me.
I'm from Earth.
I'm the Earth Guy.
Okay, so this is Planet Presentation. Oh, never mind then.
It's like show and tell for Planet.
Well, I was going to say, if he couldn't find it, maybe that's what his presentation was going to be about.
Yeah. Oh, Centaur Lady.
You're might be a tad behind then, because she's gone. She was gone by the time you mentioned it. This is such a kid thing, isn't it? Being
having to do presentations. Yeah. Because it's something that you need to learn as a skill in certain jobs. Yeah.
But here's the thing: is if you're doing a presentation at work, it's nowhere near as much of an issue.
Yeah, because everybody knows that it's awful. So you get a bit of a You get a bit of slack.
Mm-hmm. Also, everyone who's at the work presentation is just like, this could have been an email.
Oh, yeah, totally. They also want it to be over.
Ah, he said the thing.
Reserved for a far superior ass than yours, yeah.
It's going to be the garbage can. Yeah, that's the joke. Oh yeah, cool. That's a good way of hyping someone up, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Let's be honest. Yeah, it was luck, but also, the achievement is true.
Yeah. Yeah. So can gravity just malfunction?
Apparently. Yeah, it literally is.
Oh yeah, okay, that would actually be terrifying.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, is I'm a couple of seconds ahead of you. They were just mentioning the hot soup joke.
Oh, yeah, the hot soup is just gonna be... It's just gonna drop on people, and, like, people are actually gonna burn to death.
Well, not to death, but yeah, it wouldn't be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. One of the, again, you're a few seconds behind, so I'm gonna be spoiling jokes. The lead mechanic guy is just like, some of you might die, but don't panic.
Yeah. I just told you not to panic. I do love this this little race of the unanimated avatars.
Sure. Crowd surfing class. Yeah, has it, because metalheads are in charge of the curriculum.
Yeah.
She has got a very adorable voice, this girl.
She does. And just in general, the design. I'm digging that alien design.
Yeah, you got to think about ears, though.
I do.
Now, here's the thing, Rick, is that klaxon, it was annoying, but it's not... I know for a fact it's not the most annoying klaxon you've heard this week.
It's not even the most annoying klaxon I've heard in the last 12 hours. One of our neighbours got home drunk and put his alarm on and then slept through it.
What do you mean alarm that he slept through? It can't be that loud that you heard it.
Oh yeah, it was his not his house, not his like wake up alarm, his house alarm.
Okay.
So like the whole house alarm was going off as if like the burglar alarm.
Yeah, but isn't that also hooked up to fucking police?
Only if it is, right?
Well, what's the point in having the alarm if it's not also hooked up to a police service?
Oh, it's just to annoy a thief.
Okay, that's stupid. Why did he sound like a Stinian then?
I don't know. I kind of like him though. The Mermaid Prince.
I think he's called Aquarius.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all like to think that.
Yeah. Some of us do, but none of us really do.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? How come you can stream without... Well, and then again, when he was streaming, he was only streaming to like 4 people.
Yeah, and also the, like, you can't see your viewers when you're streaming. Even if you can see chat, they're just words.
Yeah, I suppose.
Whereas when you're in front of a class, you can literally see all the people getting bored in real time.
Here's the thing, Rick, there's a distinct moment where if you're up in front of a crowd and you think you're losing the crowd, you can just be like, alright, I don't give a fuck, though.
Yeah.
You are my audience. You are captive. What are you going to do? Leave? Do it. I dare you.
Yeah, you're going to be the one that gets marked down for it.
Did you pay to be here? Then I know you're not going to leave. He's really got that fucking autistic Labrador energy, hasn't he? The Yosuke.
He does. Yeah. Well, what's that?
Oh no, you're going to make him horny.
You are. You're going to make him... Seals! Baby harp seals!
He has to make sure he comes off as prim and proper.
Yeah. It's very adorable.
Oh, cool. So we're going to get a bunch of lore dumps on a bunch of planets then. So humans will die on this planet immediately.
Oh, instantly. 100%.
Unless we dress up like Volus.
Even then, that just slows down the rate at which you boil to death.
Well, at least he knows.
Yeah. I think we all know the goth girl like this.
I like how even Professor Cloudman is just like, what the fuck?
Aww.
What does that mean? That raises so many questions.
That just raises more questions.
After 10,000 years, I'm free!
Everyone died.
Oh, cool, there's bambos, I guess. Zombie-volution. They even call them zombies.
Yeah.
That's a lot of volcanoes.
It is.
Carl would love that planet.
Yeah. They're all active volcanoes because they hate laziness. Side eyes.
She really likes talking about her planet, don't she?
Yeah. She likes it. She's very proud. I think she's the most princessy of all the princes and princesses.
She's also from a very warlike race, by the sounds of things.
Yeah.
That's very cool. I will say, like, I know this show's got a very simple art style. Is not meant as a diss. It's just the case. When they pop out shit like this, it just makes it look all the more impressive.
Yeah. Because it's not just... Here's the thing, though. It's not just one simple art style. It's multiple different art styles that are, like, in a melting pot, which I think is part of the charm.
I don't know. I think the art style is pretty uniform.
Well, I think the idea is that, like, each individual alien is, like, in a slightly different style.
No, I think that's just having aliens that are different designs from one another, Rick. I don't think it's got anything to do with the style.
Sure.
Okay, I have done this before, where I've forgotten to do a thing and I've just had to bullshit it.
Yeah. I think we all have.
It's not a fun time.
It's not.
Oh, you're space dwarves.
Yeah.
See, that would boost my confidence if that presentation went at any point in the day before mine, because I'd be like, at least mine's not that shit, so I'm okay.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
I love how his first piece of information is the Earth is the third planet from the Sun. He doesn't explain what the Sun is, though.
Yes. It's just the star that... It's just self-referential, like the furry lady is also floating with her skirt up again. They obviously like drawing that.
For a minute, I thought he was going to talk about throwing up mum's spaghetti.
Mm.
That's such a weird fucking thing to ask, but at the same time, it makes perfect sense.
It does. It does. Yeah, yeah. And he can just see it whenever he wants.
They make up my fluffy beard.
Let's shall. Well, that's actually really sweet.
That was a song from a, like, it was legally distinct from Tetris's theme tune.
I know, right? Yeah. Just doing world gen. It's cute, this.
Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting this fucking screen.
Oh, Terraria.
Is it Terraria?
Oh, it's something like that.
It just looks like 2D pixel graphics, and that could be any fucking game, you know?
It is, yeah, yeah.
Funky fungi. Gotta love that phrase.
Yeah. Grow forests.
Yeah, you're fucking more than a step behind me, man. I don't know how this has happened.
I know, I don't know.
Dream. Dream, 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 dream. Hawaii.
Oh.
Oh, it is actually Hawaii. Okay.
Oh, literally, okay. My Ohana. Ohana means finally.
This is what we call brown nosing.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, all your planets are basically mine. Which makes me better than all of you. Could you imagine if he said that?
Yeah. I have just a tiny amount of what your planets do, and it all combines into Hawaii.
She's just like, sword.
It's kind of what humans do best, though. It's like being the melting pot.
Okay, but I'm a fan of humans as space orcs.
Yeah. That's kind of cool, yeah.
The rings get old, but not the fucking moon. Okay.
Yeah.
All I'm thinking of right now is gay fish. Not even in a derogatory way, just fucking... That South Park joke has ruined too much.
Now I know that I'm a gay fish.
What does that mean? I'm going to assume that's a good result,
squiggles.
But it's hard to
He
tell.
Squiggles. It looks like there's a sad face on there. So...
I'm just going to say it, Jeremy Long, I love your voice.
Yeah.
Alright, and if you want to support this show, you can go to their Ko-Fi.
Yes.
I'm going to assume it's pronounced Ko-Fi and not just coffee.
I think it's Buy Me a Coffee on Ko-Fi.
That's fair, but those are two different sites. But yeah, at the moment we're just watching a little bonus crowd surfing lesson at the end here, which is a very nice, adorable little addition at the end here.
Yeah, so Crowdsurfing 101 actually was a class.
It was very cute. Like, I'm a big guy, I'm never going to crowd surf, but even if I wasn't, surfing looks like hell.
I've always been larger than others of my age.
Well, it's also one of those things where, like, I feel bad for, I'm just going to say it, any woman who crowd surfs at certain concerts, they get touched when they shouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
And it sucks, because it means, like, you've got to weigh up that fucking sum in your head. You're just like, can have fun crowd surfing, but someone will touch your ass. And, not just to support your weight, they're just going to have a feel because they're an asshole. Yeah,
people are going to, they're going to push through crowd for 15 people just to get into a space where they can touch ass.
Well, you took a big pause between those two words, Rick.
I did. It was a yawn that I couldn't stop, and I apologise for that.
Don't apologise to me, Rick. Apologise to the one person listening to this.
Yeah. Hello, you. Hello, you who made it this far.
But yeah, the other thing about crowd surfing is, like, the dismount is never graceful.
Yeah, you're always going to get dropped. I think the most graceful you can have is when somebody just decides, I've had enough of you crowd surfing, so I'm going to let you down gently right now.
Yeah, it's one of those where, again, it's very unappealing that decision is not in your hands.
Yeah, and here's the thing, nobody wants to be that killjoy, and half the time people just get tired and drop you.
Fun! Rick, what do you think of the episode?
It was cute. It was a nice way of bulling up Earth in general, through the lens of Neil being nervous.
Yeah, take a minute and get all the yawns out, Rick.
It's not quite so simple. I don't need to yawn until I do. But yes, it was through the lens of Neil being nervous, and I liked it, and it just gave us a cute little insight into the other princes and princesses, which I like those characters, and I like to see more of them. So this was one of the better episodes for me so far. How about you? What did you think so far?
Yeah, it's a pretty fun episode. I think it's possibly the longest episode we've had so far. If not, it's up there. This was pushing 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think it is stated to be the longest one that they've done so far.
Yeah, so I think that's a step in the right direction. Like about a 21-minute runtime sounds about right for most shows, in my opinion. Unless you're going to Steven Universe route, but they have a bit too much information and character to convey to limit themselves to 10 minutes, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally.
I think it was a good runtime. I think it could have used maybe a couple of extra minutes, but even then, those extra minutes would have just been used to flesh out the basically screen grabs of the other people's planets that we just got little glimpses of, like the VR headset with the dog lady and the red person showing off the sword to the zombie princess.
Yeah.
Very cute moments that could have been padded out. Mild disclaimer: if you hear any yawning, that's because Rick didn't edit it out, because I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Like, hopefully it was silent enough that it gets cut out by the truncator.
Oh, almost certainly won't be.
Okay.
Anyway, let's get down to brass tacks, shall we? Do you have a favourite moment?
I think it was Scarella going, "Everyone died until they realised dying is for the weak." It was really funny and kind of metal.
Oh, I don't think it was metal, but it was a pretty good joke. I kind of want to know what that actually means biologically for that race of people. Are they all actually zombified? Because it's one of those, like, did they really die at all? Is their race just built different? There's some questions there that need answered.
Yeah, there might just be an entire race of sentient undead by this point, but we don't know. Like, she looks more vampire than zombie, but we don't know, and we might find out.
I mean,
how about you?
I mean, they reproduced. There was evolution. That means there was future generations. They're not just all the people who came back.
Yeah. Yeah, they did have zombie evolution. But yes, how about you? Do you have a favourite moment today?
Yeah, my favourite moment was it was a silly gag, but I enjoyed it, and that was the Yosuke of the group. I'm not good with names in this series.
I think it was Zav.
Sure. It was just him constantly being like, I'll do it later. It needs to be shown now. And he goes, shit.
Yes. Yeah, it was a fun gag. The unfortunate thing is, that's also my weakest link because it's too real.
Your weakest link is no weak link because that's not an issue.
It's one of those, like, I think everyone relates to having had to have done that.
I don't think everyone does. I think only a certain brand of person has ever actually been in that situation. Like, it takes a certain amount of moxie in the first place to bullshit your way through an assignment of that level. Most people would just be like, I didn't do it, and they take the fucking slap on the wrist.
Yeah, but by the same token, what's the worst that can happen when you do it badly? You get a bad mark. That's better than 0.
Okay, I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying I don't think our experience is the universal one.
Sure. Fair enough. But yes, that's it. Just made me remember, like, times that A, I've had to do it, and B, when I've had to sit through someone else who has very obviously done it.
How many times have you done that? Not counting the podcast.
Probably once.
And counting the podcast, I'd jump that number up to about 45.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, pretty much. How many not retrospectives? Yeah. How many hypotheticals have we done? And then minus about 10.
Okay, yeah. The amount of times where you've started a hypothetical with, well, not even. It was like preambles, guys. For those of you listening, instead of us just bitching at each other, just started with, I've come up with a hypothetical, but not a good one, which is almost always code for, I looked this up in 2 minutes.
Man, if only you could just look them up. Like, the ones that you look up are all shit. It's $10 million or you lose this. What do you do?
Yeah, they're real Gavin Free level of questions.
Yeah, they're all money or X. But yes, do you have a weakest link?
Yeah, my weakest link is probably, sorry, there's no lag there, that was just my brain failing. I think it's got to go to the soundtrack.
Yeah.
It was very noticeably, I wouldn't say quiet, and part of it might be because the soundtrack is actually quite subtle, and we've got our volumes down quite loud because we have to hear each other.
Okay.
So I don't know, man. I didn't really notice anything soundtrack-wise, and might have been intentional, might not have needed any soundtrack, but it's weird. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's one of those. I noticed little bits of like the background music that just seemed to fit pretty well. But I also did notice that the volume mixing on the voices was sometimes a little bit sus.
Oh, you know why that is, though, don't you? It's because people are recording in their own ghetto segment setups and then sending it to the cutting room.
Yeah, they get sending little wavs via email. Yeah.
Well, Rick knows how this process works, being a successful voice actor himself.
Yes, I too have sent wavs over email.
But yeah, it doesn't detract from the overall experience, and it feels real mean to even bring it up. But, like, you know, if I'm talking about your goddamn soundtrack in the weakest link, that means there really wasn't much wrong with your fucking show.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
So yeah, let's get to the actual important question, the creme de la creme of our wind down. Rick, do you have an MVP today?
I think it would be Professor Cloud, or whatever his name was, Professor Cloud Flare, Cloud Star, Professor Cloudman.
Professor Cloudman.
Yeah, Professor Cloudman. I mean, that's probably on brand for the kind of names that these guys have. But yeah, he gave a rather nice pep talk to Neil at the moment that Neil needed it the most, and I think that goes a long way because it really kind of frames the episode in a way more positive way than Neil was experiencing it until now.
Absolutely, man. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that Professor Cloudman, and that's going to be what I'm calling him from now on, is like doubling up as the guidance counselor or something. Like, it must be a unique skill to recognize signs of anxiety, like full stop. Let alone signs of anxiety across a range of different species that you don't necessarily know that it's a bad thing what they're doing.
Yeah, and also be able to, at least to some degree, help out. In that, yeah, he needed to confirm that breathing was a good thing, but he knew that it was a good thing for quite a lot of species.
Yeah, I mean, anxiety, like, what are the two top things you need to do? One, fucking breathe, and two, just start recalling information, think of happy things, etc. Like, there's a checklist I believe they have people do when they suffer from bad anxiety that they run through, and it's like, what's your name, what's your location, name 3 things that start with C, and stuff like that. And because you're occupying your brain, it calms you down because it tricks your brain into thinking that essentially there's nothing wrong, which anxiety is just feeling like something's wrong when there isn't.
Yeah, it's being in fight mode when you're not. It's like how do I ground myself? What are 6 things that I can touch right now if I moved over and touched it?
Yeah, right. And it's a good thing we have these techniques nowadays. I know, like 20 years ago, we almost certainly didn't.
Oh no, we definitely didn't.
Go cry in the corner and stop distracting the other kids.
Yep. Go be miserable like everyone else is all the time. But yes, who's going to be your MVP for today?
Yeah, I don't know if it's actually his name, but I've been calling him it forever, and that's Aquafina. Aqua Dude, Prince Aqua.
Yeah.
So before this episode, there was a short released of him being a lab partner with Neil, and it was just Neil getting distracted by his prettiness, and I'm like, okay, I'll ship it, why not?
It is very cute. I do like it.
And this episode in particular, like, he got immediately like love struck when he saw a seal. He wanted to learn more about the oceans, and it's like, oh, these two could probably actually bond quite well if they allow them to.
Yeah, like he's probably the one who would get on the most if he went to visit Earth.
I'm just thinking of him dressing up like fucking Aquaman and being a gay fish. South Park, you've ruined water.
Oh boy.
But yeah, I think they're both very worthy MVPs. I was also going to say Professor Cloudman, unless you said him, because he really did stand out, especially in the latter half of the episode. Earth Guy continues to be a great show. I hope Google fixes itself, and if you type in the Earth Guy, you get a link to this YouTube animation instead of a bad movie from 2007.
Yeah. It even tried to correct me when I just tried to bypass it and go straight to an animated. Because it was like, did you mean animated? No, I meant the thing that I typed.
Yeah.
With 26,000 subscribers.
Yeah, of which 2 of them are Nonsense Review.
Yeah. 3, I assume.
Well, 2. I haven't subscribed with the channel.
Okay.
I've subscribed with myself.
Okay, fair enough.
But anyway, I digress. As always, thank you for joining us, watching this lovely show with us. We've got the comment section down below. Let us know what details we missed. Obviously, we're not the most observant. We're focusing on talking to each other and watching the show. Let us know what your thoughts are on the Earth Guy and what you hope to see in future episodes. We're pretty much going to put a pin in everything we do as soon as Earth Guy drops, just so we can watch it for the show. And yeah, if you're not watching via YouTube or listening via Spotify, you can instead send us an email at
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
Yes. Same question. Let us know your thoughts. Anything good you say and interesting you say, we might read out on the next episode. We might also not if you just say like poopy butt fart.
Although if you do, that's probably going to be funny enough for us to mention it. Also, if you made it this far, let us know Professor Cloudman's real name, because we've forgotten it.
Dude, if I cared that much, I could have just pressed left on my keyboard twice.
Sure.
People know who we're talking about. He's almost certainly going to be the screenshot for this episode. But anyway.
Yeah.
I digress. Join us again next week, guys, where we continue the review. We're probably going to do something that is also new that came out in October, but we were too busy doing Scooby-Doo. So until then, bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.